So here's where we stopped the video before. So now we're going to continue. We're going to go to question 3. So here I'm going to start off simplify right as a single positive. So I'm going to go equals here, and I'm going to add these two numbers. So when they're side by side and multiply, you add exponents. So you go 0, 4 plus negative 2. You do not have to show the step. You can just skip right to the answer, and you get a 4 plus negative 2 here. So 4 plus negative 2 is just 2, and that's our answer. Okay, here you get a and 7 minus 9. Okay, so again, you can just skip this step if you want, and you can go a to the minus 2. So 7 minus 9. So when it's divided, the exponents are subtract. And then here, okay, right about here, you're going to write 1 over a squared. You're going to put the negative 2 to the bottom, so it becomes positive in the bottom. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. So again, here, when they're side by side, you add. So I put the equal sign here. Add. I'm just going to skip this time. It's like negative 5 plus 2. So it's negative 3. Okay, on the next step, I go 1 over a to the positive 3. Okay, and that's my final answer. So 1 over a to the positive 3 exponent. Okay, maybe I can write that a little bit neater. Maybe I can put the 3 a little bit higher so you can see it. So maybe I can put the 3 up here. Okay, for this particular one, okay, you can do this. So you can go 2 and power of a power to the negative 2x to the negative 6. So the 2 actually has an exponent of 1 up here. So you multiply. So when you have a power of power, you multiply. So 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Then both these can go in the denominator. And you can write it like this as a positive because we're looking for a positive one. And I'll box that. Let's go on to the next one. So here, it's a power of power, so you multiply. So you got 3 to the negative 10. Okay, so I just multiplied those numbers. And then you got 1 over 3 to the 10. So you put the negative in the bottom, it becomes positive. Okay, here you do 7 subtract 7. So like it's a to the 7 minus 7. So a division, you subtract powers. So you get a to the 0. But a to the 0, okay, I'll just make a 0 here, is 1. So you can just write the number 1. Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit harder ones. So here you got multiple things you can do. So first I would do what's in the bracket. So I'd add those numbers. So here, if I add 2 plus negative 3, I get negative 1. So 2, you don't have to show this step, but I'll put it plus negative 3, okay, to the negative 2. So that's like 2 to the negative 1. Oh, sorry, x to the negative 1. Let's just erase that to make it look nicer. Okay. So here, that's just x to the negative 1 to the negative 3. And then you multiply those two. And you get x to the 3. Now you can just skip to this step. So you can do 2 plus negative 3 is negative 1. And then you multiply. Okay, so here, it's 2 minus negative 3. So we get 2 minus negative 3 for the division. Okay. Oh, I don't need that. Let's just undo that line here. Okay, so 2 minus negative 3. So there should be a negative there. To the negative 2. 2 minus negative 3 is to the 5. So 2 minus negative 3 is like 5. So you put a plus there with the 2 negatives. You can use your calculator, and that's to the negative 2. Oops, let's do that again. Let's undo that here, and undo that little scribble. Bring this screen down. Then you multiply. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And you get 1 over a to the 10. You put it on the bottom. I know some of you have difficulty with integers and adding and subtracting, but you can use your calculators here. This is a good place to use your calculators. Okay, let's move on to this one, which is a little bit more difficult now. So, before I want to make sure I have 2 of these because I want to do this a shorter way and a faster way. So here on the top, you go 3 plus negative 2. So I'm going to just do these 2 top ones, okay? So I'm going to do those top ones. And on the bottom, I got a to the negative 5. And all that is cubed. Okay, so when I do that, I get a to the 1. So you can use your calculator. 3 plus -2, so you get a to the 1 here. Okay, and you can use your calculator there. Okay, that's still over a to the -5, and that's all to the power of 3. Okay, now on the next line, you're going to subtract. So let's bring that up. So it's going to be a 1 subtract -5. You can use your calculator here. You can just skip. So when you have a division, you subtract to the power of 3. So here, 1, that's going to like 1 plus 6, the two negatives. You get 1 plus 5, so you get a to the 6. And that's to the power of 3. And then you multiply the two numbers, and you get a to the 18. Okay, so working with negatives is a bit confusing. I would skip some steps. So here I'm going to show you how I would skip steps. So here on the top, I would go 3 plus negative. It's the same question. Okay, it's the exact same question. I'm just going to skip steps. Here I knew that would be a to the 1. If I add 3 plus -2, then I get a to the -5. Now I would subtract 1 and -5 now. And I'd get a to the 6 cubed. So I go 1 minus -5 on my calculator. And now, from this point, I would go 6 times 3. I get a to the 18. Let's see, I got the exact same answer. Okay, I just didn't show all the steps. You do not have to show all the steps here. Okay, and you get a to the 18. And here, you get a to the 18 without showing all the steps. Okay, let's go on here to our last one here. So let's go on here to the last one here. So this one here, I'm not going to show all the steps. I'm going to go 7 plus -3. So when you do the top, you get a to the 3. So I took this 7 and this -4 and I added them. Now you do 2 plus -5, you get a to the -3 on the bottom. Okay, so what I've done here is to get that number here, I've gone 2 minus 5. To get this number here, I've done 7 minus 4. I basically added that with the minus there. Okay, now the next step here. 3 subtract -3, you get a to the 6 to the -3. So how did I get that 6? So in this particular case, I did 3 subtract -3. If you put that on the calculator, you get 6. Okay, let's go back now. Here. Now you multiply. 6 times -3, so you get a to the -18. You get a to the -18. Okay, how did I get that? Well, I took the 6 that I had there and I multiplied it. So I'll put a little times -3 on my calculator, or the times symbol, and I got -18. Okay, we got one last step. I go 1 over a to the 18, and that's my final answer. Now, I'll do this one again, maybe, but a little bit quicker. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll clone this page. I'll show you what you should have. I'll clone the page, and I'm going to do this question one more time. Okay, so let's erase all this here. So I'm going to erase all this stuff here with my eraser. I'll erase some more over here. I'll do this question one last time, but a little bit faster. I'm still left with some stuff over here. Okay, so let's do this question really quick. Okay, so on the top, I'm going to add. So when I add, I get a to the 3 over a to the -3. Now I'm going to subtract the 3 and the -3. So again, this is the exact same question. 3 minus -3 is a to the 6 to the -3. And now I'm going to multiply the 2. So I get a to the -18. And then here I'm going to put 1 over a to the 18. Now some of you this might be difficult. For some of you it might be easy. So people just learn at different levels. I forgot the equal sign, so I'm just going to add all the equal signs here. Okay, so I would like you now to try the rest of the questions on your own. See how many of them you can get.